All right, colleagues, thank you so much. Of course, with us is the head coach of the Zimbabwe national team, that is Michael Nees. And coach, I'm going to start with your thoughts on that game, falling 2-0 down in the first half, but bouncing back to share the spoils 2-2.
Yeah, there are a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions today in this game. And first of all, I would like to thank really the spectators. Great atmosphere today, very good crowd. The coach of Benin also said that, hey, very good support. It was a real home game today. And first of all, I would like to thank all the spectators for coming, making this effort to make their way to the stadium. We really appreciate it, and I think without the spectators, we might have not come back. It must be always a synergy between the fans and the players. And of course, the result, we wanted more. No doubt about that. But if we're really honest, the opponent was strong. We had not a good start, definitely not in the game. And but the character was really good from that team. And again, it was in Cameroon, it was in all the games. The character is really strong. And the match was on the edge. We risk more and more the longer it goes. And of course, it could have gone either way, but we wanted to win. We tried everything, and I think we can go out with that feeling we gave everything. We put everything on the table, and that is what you always need. You need to have that feeling. You regret maybe a mistake, you regret a missed chance, but the feeling that you put everything on the table must be there. And I think from that point of view, I'm really impressed of the team, how they came back. Maybe one more chance, I think we would have turned the game completely around.
Excellent. We'll open up for questions. One question, no follow-up question, please. We're going to try and get as many questions as we can. We'll start with you. Please introduce yourself and you lead your house.
My name is Tata Pofana from Ink Media in Devon. My only question is just when you had the game in your hand and you were in control of the game, and I think you had a turnaround there, you decided to seek out the smiling assistant, which is the Nordic persona. What was the reason for the motive behind that?
Indicated fatigue, and we thought really come fresh legs, quick legs, can make the difference. He indicated that he has said, look, they're not anymore 25, also come up. We must not, they are, how can you say, ignore realities. And this was a very intensive game, very fast in my opinion. It was an AFCON level match for me, definitely. And then you need to bring new fresh legs. It's very simple. It was the same with the other substitutes. Prince Dube, very good player. Somehow he didn't get into the game. And we thought, we want to bring maybe players who can enter the box, dribble into the box like Chireva with his very tight touches. Yeah, and the defender must be careful if he suddenly hits the leg and so. And the longer the game, the more you risk. You bring fresh legs in, and maybe they can make the difference, because we must also see. This is a very good team, Benin. It's not by chance they're standing on the table. The coach is an experienced coach, works with them now over 2 years. And it's not by chance they beat Nigeria, they played draw against Nigeria. It's not by chance. And so I also thought that maybe quicker guys with a lower center of gravity can then make a difference. That's also why Chalai today started his pace, and I think it was the right decision. But of course, our start was not so good. Concentration, was a bit surprised, a bit sleepy on the left side. The shifting to support the left back was a bit slow. But it happens, and Washington's mistake, yes. I know goalkeepers, big keepers, made in Champions League semi-final mistake or in a World Cup final. Big keepers. That's unfortunately the the destiny of a keeper when he makes a mistake. It doesn't look good. So.
Coach, so you spoke about Janai. You obviously came in, gave him his first corner, and today, the first start. There must obviously be something that you see in him. What is the quality that made you say, this is the player I want in my team?
I was always in the team. He was 6 times in the squad, in the final squad, just not entering the game. Sometimes it was a bit unfortunate for him before, because he's a very offensive defender, I would say, and a short one. And our team is also not the tallest. And then you play Kenya or you play Cameroon, and now today it is Benin. They have really some massive guys in these West African countries. And how do you defend in set pieces? This team has a lot of goals scored in set pieces, but I somehow had a feeling with his pace, he can really take that play out on his side, and I think he played an excellent game. There's absolutely no doubt. He was always a good player. Just because he didn't start and he didn't play, it doesn't make him a bad player. They're all good. So the difference sometimes is very small between the players, and it's not so easy to decide who comes in, who starts, who comes in, who goes out, and this. But he was always a good player, and he's still.
Okay, Coach. When you came in, you said you wanted to try and see how you can probably rescue this campaign. After this draw, probably how do you still rate our chances?
Look, we have, first of all, apart from the situation in the group, we have to be sportsmen. Even if and we are not out there, still 15 points to play for. And you never know what's happening with the second place. Playoff, how many points the second position needs. And as there are some groups only with 4 teams, so that the matches maybe against 5 and 6 will be not counted in that calculation. Nobody can predict anything. As a sports person, you have to fight until the end, because everybody wants a fair competition. That's number one. If you don't do that, you shouldn't play football. Second, the group is not decided. There's still 15 points to play for. And you must see every game serious. At the same time, a team needs to develop. If you want, today was definitely an improvement, or even more improvement in character development. A team, this gives also confidence. You're 2-0 down, you come back. We were in Cameroon 2-0 down, and actually we also came back, if you saw the game properly. This makes us really happy, but of course, in a certain way, we need to also be honest to ourselves and rectify the mistakes at the beginning, for sure.
Coach Dobego from Vibe FM. Coach, what role did the crowd play today? Because you seem to have a lot of support today. What role did they play today?
Look, the crowd and the players and the team, there must be something like a bond, or you must feel it like a spark. And when they go home, they must have really a good feeling, even when you cannot win every game. But they must have a good feeling that they can identify themselves with the team, that they were fighting, that they were giving their best, that they played also good football. Today was a good football game between 2 teams which play today really good football. Benin is also a good team, and I think that the crowd really helped us when we scored them, when we came back to push us to another level. It's very important in football. I mean, you can still, I said it before, I think, when was it? I think when we played Namibia, but there's no spectators were allowed. This is like COVID times then. Football is emotion. Everybody can see it today. It's intense. You want to, sometimes suffering is not nice, but sometimes suffering, like it's also extremely exciting, And we wanted, of course, to win. I think then they would have gone a little bit crazy if we would have scored the third goal. But they were also very good. I expected.
Coach, no visit from Milan FM. Playing such a competitive game like this 8 months before the AFCON kicks off might give you a little bit of insight of what you can expect from your team before the AFCON. Can you share with us such an insight?
The team needs to develop again. No? But definitely I can say the team has a great character. They don't give up. They fight until the end. They stick together. When someone makes a mistake, they don't apply scapegoat rituals. Mistakes them. So it's a process, I can tell you. To develop a team, this was today AFCON level football. And that's what you can expect. And if you have not how can I say it, synergy, if you don't have togetherness, it will be the same story as always. I'm not saying it just because I want to say that. We need to understand that we have to stick together, fight together, and when things go like in the first half, not just then to lose hope and all these things. It's football. There's opponents. They're fighting. They're also good. And we came back, and today I think we can be with the performance, especially second half, satisfied, not with the 30 minutes, yeah, sure not. But, there's still a lot of work to do, absolutely.
Excellent. Let's take our final three questions, starting over here, there, and then.
Coach, I'm sure you will expect a better start than this. I mean, in the next game against Nigeria, since Nigeria look at the quality on their side as well, having not won any matches so far.
Nigeria is definitely in attack, top 5 in the world. Top 5 in the world. I mean, when you look at the players that they have at their disposal, it's massive. But sometimes the names doesn't make automatically a big performance. But they play tomorrow in Rwanda, and I can tell you I know because I was working in Rwanda. They always struggle in Rwanda. Very often. They missed the World Cup that time when they played in 2005 in Rwanda, I think a draw, and then they missed the World Cup in Germany. They lost against Rwanda in Uyo in the last AFCON game. They played a draw, then it doesn't matter. But they really, but of course, Nigeria is from the players, absolute top level. We cannot allow that to happen again. We must be there from the beginning in our game. Our concentration must be there. Because the goals, when you look at it, they were a little bit gifted from us. First, we don't need to talk about. The second, we were really a bit sleeping there. Not winning the duel properly in the midfield and then sleeping. And then they combined very quick and suddenly was the ball in the goal. Nobody really could anticipate it.
Soit coach. Soit coach. Quelle est votre analyse du match en français?
Qu'est-ce que j'ai dit déjà depuis 20 minutes, là, c'est difficile, mais je vais essayer. C'est des matchs très physiques, avec une grande vitesse. C'était un match très intense. Pour moi, c'était un match au niveau des camps. Les deux équipes sont qualifiées et c'est un match vraiment au niveau des camps. Pour moi, nous avons commencé pas bien. On a manqué de concentration. Le focus n'était pas là. Mais la réaction de notre équipe était très très bonne. On a voulu de marquer un but avant le mi-temps. Et ça, normalement, donne beaucoup d'énergie à une équipe. Et on peut voir ça dans le deuxième mi-temps. On a essayé tous, on a remplacé des joueurs, des autres joueurs, on a essayé tous. Et je pense que notre sentiment est on a essayé tous pour gagner le match. C'était match nul, oui, mais on a essayé tous. Et nous, pour cela, le développement, démonstration de caractère était très très bon. Mais il faut aussi saluer l'équipe de Benin. Très bonne équipe. Très bien entraîné, préparé avec de Garnot. C'était très fort dans les corners et même le throw-in. C'était une bonne équipe, bon match, vraiment très intense. Je pense que les spectateurs aujourd'hui étaient très contents pour venir ici.
Final question.
Coach, we haven't really had some of the challenges that you've seen today and things that you're willing to work on towards or for going forward. Obviously, there are things that we cannot ignore, like the physical presence of the opponent. They were there, they were very present. And even though your team managed to chase and then get a point, but would you say you saw the shortfalls from your end, and what are those, and how are you willing to fix that going forward?
Look, there's not so much time. In training, you cannot fix a lot because now you travel 2 days, there's nothing going on. Then you have one session on Sunday and another on Monday, 1 hour. So the time is limited. Definitely it must be, how can I say, we need to be there from the beginning. Something we need to have a look. Maybe we need to warm up a few minutes earlier or something like that, but we need to fix that. Yeah? It's a little bit concentration. Imagine you go in an exam and every time the first 20 minutes you make only mistakes. Not only, but a lot of mistakes. Then you have to rectify it at the end and it gets hectic. We need to fix that. Also, we need to also show that. Yeah? And then I think from that moment onwards, I cannot really say that the team, they did a good rest defense when we attacked. I think we took the game in our hands. We tried everything. We scored then 2 goals, which were played goals. We had a few other chances. These were not goals by which we didn't create. Maybe suddenly the ball falls in front of your feet, or it was really. We had some good attacking moves. I think that at the start we need to really improve, and that is not an easy fix in a certain way, because if we would have the silver bullet to fix it, believe me, we would do it. Yeah? But if you have it, you must tell me. But it has something to do with concentration, with maybe we do there 1 or 2 things. I have there some ideas, but at the end it will be also a question of the players. But let me be honest, the next 2 days is recovery, 2 days. There is nothing possible. They were at the limit today. These players need almost 72 hours to be able to load again. We mustn't now overdo and be overcritical. We must look for the good points, and of course the points which were not so good, and work on that. I don't expect that Washington makes such mistakes every game. Huh? I mean, that's his strength with his legs. And that's the modern goalkeeping, although he's already 39, but that's the modern goalkeeping. 25 years ago, basically 90% of the keepers and the 95 would have just kicked the ball forward. But then you would see a lot of tennis games, during that time. So football is evolving. You need to build up. You need to learn to integrate a keeper. Yes. And in that moment, maybe he had two thoughts in his head at the same moment. And then these things happen. Sometimes people have that when they drive a car and make an accident. Maybe it happened to you,
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.